I put my dad in the street against a heavyweight.
I've gone back to the dad, I've punched him a few more times.
5 blokes outside my front door, can you come and help
One
me?
hell of a fucking story, so stay tuned.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. A piece of breaking news. Do you know what? I'm literally just going to hand you the mic, Mr. KALLE SAUERLAND.
Well, you see the look on my face, you see the smile on my face. A long piece of work. I think the longest fight I've put together in 20-something years of boxing. I can confirm it is signed, sealed and delivered. The British legacy fight, a fight of the ages. You'll all call it something, and everyone will develop the storylines themselves in their own minds and the throwbacks and all the memories. I can confirm that EUBANK, CONOR BENN has been signed for October the 8th in London, the O2, and we are over the moon with it. I think it's going to be a hell of a build-up, and I think that when you look at the styles, it's going to be an absolute throwback evening. So that's the announcement. KUGAN, you're first with it, as always. I am elated to have got this over the line with everyone and working with Frank and Eddie on the other side. It's been a long few weeks, a lot of sleepless nights. Obviously with Junior in Vegas. It's been a fantastically interesting period, and you know, just for the record, it wasn't signed, sealed those weeks ago when certain people went out and said that it was signed and sealed, but it is now, and I'm delighted to break that news.
Okay, well, you're making reference to... Thank you. You're making reference to Gareth Davies' reports from about 3 weeks ago.
Just blame it on Gareth. There were a few, but I'd love to know who the source. I love to when people say sources, because it weren't signed. We're about a million miles off. It had been a flirting discussion. I just got off a plane from Australia, and my inbox was full of journalists asking, "Is it true? Is it true? Is it true?" And I'm like, "Is what true?" You know, and even Junior was also confused because, you know, we mentioned it, but there was a number of fights we were looking at the time, and of course, we've always said this is one of the big fights. It's a fight of such enormity that those fights do take longer to get made, and there was a lot of parties involved. I remember doing Klitschko-Hay, and it was similar. There were so many different moving elements, and it also took a long time to get done. But this one broke all records, and I'm sure it will break a few records at the event itself. But it's a fight. I remember watching the original fights in my teens, and you know, it's sort of an incredible milestone we're going to see. You know, it really is something very, very special.
Okay, well look, appreciate you kind of giving us...
By the way, you know, I just wanted to say one thing. Yeah. Go and look at my Twitter timeline, go back to, I think, November, and I put a tweet out there. One day, in the not so distant future, EUBANK will fight CONOR BENN. And people were telling me, "No, it'll never happen, not going to happen, this is not going to happen." And at the time, it was a sort of, I think it was a Sunday brunch tweet, and it was a bit of off-the-cuff stuff, but, you know, here we are. And
Dream big.
8 weeks out, and they're going to be in a ring.
Okay, just a few questions around this. I get that there's some things you may be able to answer now, there's some things you may not be able to, so let's just kind of everyone be patient with our answers for Mr. Sauerland. First of all, there does seem like there had been kind of a delay, but I say that without no backing of any kind of confirmation from yourself or Matchroom or anyone associated with the fight officially. It just seems like we were expecting an announcement a week ago. There seems like there was a delay. Was there a delay or not?
Not at all. That's how long it takes to make these very special fights. There's big fights, there's huge fights, and there's special fights. This is a special fight, and yeah, as I said, a delay comes from something that's expected at a certain time. how can I say it was delayed when people were going out announcing that the fight was signed via sources? I don't know what sources they were. Love to know, and I'll be questioning certain people of who those sources are, and maybe I'll find out. But I don't know. At the end of the day, it showed us also a little bit. It sort of spurred it on because it showed how big the reaction was. Boxing News run a front cover on it. I mean, I've never done a fight that hasn't been made. Actually, at that stage, there was no contracts even in play. Yeah? It was talks, and it was on the front cover of Boxing News. I'm like, right, okay, interesting. We must be onto something here, though. There's certainly a mainstream interest in people, you know, not just my hardcore boxing fan friends, but you know, everything from doctors, the kids' teachers, everyone's been asking about this fight and is it getting done or not. And I think it will appeal to a whole new and old demographic.
Okay, you can answer this both in the same breath if you like. So can you confirm what the catch weight is officially, and can you also confirm whether there was issues regarding the rehydration?
Listen, every discussion, in every negotiation, there is a discussion around certain things. And of course we had to find a weight, but all that will come, Kug. You've got the big exclusive today. Wait for the press conference. I'm sure that's going to be, you know, that's going to be popcorn stuff, absolute Hollywood blockbuster stuff. And I can't give any more details other than that the fight has been signed.
Can I make a rough guess at what that weight's going to be or not?
You can guess, yeah, of course.
I'm going to assume around like between 156 and 158, around about that sort of.
Are we decided on 175? Because Conor's had a great summer. No, I mean, seriously, I can't reveal those sort of things. I'm not privileged to do that right now. We'll be discussing internally and everything, what will be said at the press conferences and stuff.
When will we learn about the broadcast situation? At the press conference, I'm assuming?
Yeah, that will be out there shortly.
I mean, when I spoke to Eddie Hearn the other day, I said if there was a potential fight, would it be a pay-per-view fight? He said yes. I think that's something that we're going to expect as well.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a pay-per-view.
Okay. Your answers are getting shorter. That means you want to talk less. Listen, brilliant news. Really, really pleased that this has been over the line, because for British boxing fans, especially more so that kind of know about the kind of the Ben EUBANK history, etc. It's quite surreal.
I think you're going to get people who haven't watched boxing in a long time, outside the heavyweights. You know, everyone tunes in for a Fury or a Joshua fight, but I think this is a fight that brings back for those 40 pluses so many memories. And you know, for the younger crowds, they've been watching, you know, Chris EUBANK for many years and CONOR BENN now for a few years as well. So it's the whole thing. But I think that's all the build-up, that's all the hype. But if you look at the styles of fighters, what a fantastic matchup! You know, it's going to be very interesting.
Okay, well listen, to be continued.
Absolutely.
Appreciate your time, and like I said, we'll look forward to the press conference when that's announced.
Thanks, Kug.
My dad in the street against a heavyweight.
I've gone back to the dad. I've punched him a few more
There's 5
times.
blokes outside my front door. Can you come and help
One
me?
hell of a fucking story, so stay tuned.
Welcome, Team Everlast, to the Team Everlast Fitness app. Download the Everlast Fitness app and find your greatness within.